Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Everybody knows, I'm sure by now, of the indictment of Donald Trump on, well, we don't know what for. That was one of the interesting things that came out yesterday when the indictment was finally made public, that Trump committed a crime by supposedly falsifying some business records to conceal another crime, but the indictment doesn't say what that other crime is. So, take that for what it's worth, which in my opinion is not very much. But there's been some speculation since this whole business began. How is this going to affect the election, especially if Trump seems almost certain if he is the candidate the Republican candidate, because support for him among Republicans has only been growing, and even the people running against him, other primary people entering the primaries, condemn what's happening. But I have a piece of interesting news here, because a poll just came out this morning. So this is, well, we'll have to see over the next couple of days how this shakes out, but this is a poll just released today by Rasmussen, one of my favorite pollsters, and I'll just recap because I've explained in the past why they are one of my favorites, and that's because, first of all, they only poll likely voters, people who have a history of voting in every or almost every election and are therefore likely to vote again. And the poll is a 3-day moving average, so they'll take 3 days polling, average it together, so you're not getting daily fluctuations, because it could vary a lot from day to day, a poll. So the average is 3 days in a row. So that's why I say we have to wait a couple of days to see how this shakes out. In other words, when 3 days go by, you're seeing this on Thursday. So by Monday, Tuesday next week, then the next poll will have come after the indictment, and then we'll have a better idea. But as of today, I'm linking to the article, Rasmussen's poll. Now, it's behind a paywall, so you don't get the whole article unless you want to subscribe. But I'll give you just what's the part of the article in the beginning of the article that you can see. So it's election 2024, Biden trails both Trump and DeSantis. Let me just read the first couple paragraphs here. If President Joe Biden seeks a second term in 2024, he faces an uphill battle for re-election against either of the two leading Republican candidates. The latest Rasmussen reports national telephone and online survey finds that if the 2024 election were between Biden and former President Donald Trump, 47% of likely U.S. voters would vote for Trump, while 40% would vote for Biden. Another 11% say they would vote for someone else. So you see there, that's a 7-point lead. I think I've been following these polls for a while. It's very early, obviously, a Biden and Trump matchup. And some people are predicting now that Biden ultimately won't run. And if he doesn't, the reason they do is because it keeps delaying when he's supposed to announce whether he's going to run or not. And he keeps saying, well, next month, and he doesn't, or after the midterms, but he didn't. And then after, whatever. He's delaying. Sooner or later, he's going to have to announce whether he's going to run or not, because if he's not going to run, he's not giving other candidates a chance to boost themselves, to campaign for themselves. He's not leaving them any time, because the primaries will start next year. Next year, I think actually you're going to start seeing, not the primaries, but you're going to start to see the debates, I think, starting this year around August. So you see why this is important. So there's that poll, and the reason I didn't say DeSantis, according to this article or the headline, DeSantis beats Biden too, but I don't have that number because I would have to subscribe to get the whole article to read that. They only have Trump, what I just read you. So I'm linking to the article anyways, and you can read it, but I pretty much gave you the gist of it. But if this holds up, I mean, Trump could even lose a few points, but I don't think he will. And people are saying that there's a problem if the The next court hearing will be December 4th. So people are saying, well, this is terrible. This is going to be in the news for the next few months, but and distract from all of Biden's problems, such as the $1.3 million payout to his family and possibly to him. One of the recipients of the money, it lists his. For instance, it lists various people members of his family. I think James and Hallie. But there's one entry that just says 70,000 to Biden, quote unquote Biden, with no first name. So I think we can all take a pretty good guess of who that Biden is, and I hope at some point that the person who received the money and transferred the money to the Bidens will be subpoenaed to testify and to identify who that Biden is. That should be interesting. But people are worried, or Republicans are worried, that this whole business with Trump is going to distract from all Biden's problems. But I don't see why it would, because the next hearing is December 4th, and in between, there's really nothing to report, nothing unless there's some leaks or something, and nothing will happen until December 4th, and they're saying, well, what if this trial is going on all through the primaries? I don't think it's going to hurt Trump. I think it would help him. But this is the question nobody asked, so I'm going to ask it now. What if on December 4th the judge dismisses the case? Dismisses the case entirely, going into the primaries. That would obviously help Trump greatly. So there you go. That's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would be great. And one way or the other, I would love to see all of you again. Till I do, bye.